That's right, everyone. It's time for Marilyn's Cafe Society. Time for Marilyn's Cafe Society Radio on this July 4th, 2020. Happy Independence Day for all who are celebrating the 4th of July. And welcome to a very shortened holiday version of Marilyn's Cafe Society. Yeah, I just wanted to pop in, everyone, just to kind of say hello and to wish you happy holidays again for those who are celebrating, right? It's a big controversy about who celebrates July 4th holiday, and I honestly don't want to get into it right now. There's a lot that I really care not to get into on this day. I just want to relax and enjoy the day, don't you? All right, I know it's a lot happening, but just for our own mental health, let's try to just relax at least one day and enjoy. All right, so how's your week been? Mine has been pretty busy. Yeah, I got the show done on Wednesday, late Wednesday, and of course just been busy with the blog and just doing, you know, the show business behind the show business, so to speak. So I have been having some full days, and on top of that, I have little projects around the house that I'm working on, and always trying to do some self-improvement for myself as well. So it's been a packed full week, and I would say productive as well, and I hope that you've had one too. All right, slowly trying to get back to the groove of you know, focusing on goals and where we want to be by year's end. Speaking of which, you know, we're not going to get into all of the numbers with this coronavirus, but apparently the United States has set another record in virus cases. It looks like we have 40 states now that have confirmed upticks in the number of cases, and so local governments, state governments are you know, doubling down on the folks, trying to impress upon them the importance of wearing face masks, especially when you're out public, the importance of social distancing and all of that. So we hope that people take heed and get back to it if they got to it and stopped, or if they never did. It's so important, mainly that you protect other people, but also protect yourself. All right, so Arizona looks like it's leading with the most new reported cases, around 3,000. Alabama has about 1,700 new cases, and you know, again, they're just asking that, you know, folks just be extra careful. If you're going to have cookouts on the weekend today or tomorrow, whatever, just make sure that you do the social distancing and just be safe. All right, let's take care of each other. As for the state of Illinois, it looks like we broke our 7,000 mark in terms of COVID-related deaths. We're now at 7,005. And COVID-related deaths, that's kind of coded talk, right? Because, you know, there's that whole debate about people having pre-existing conditions and then they get the COVID. So how do you categorize their passing? Was it related to their medical condition, or did the COVID just kind of push things along and expedite their exit on Earth? I don't know. It's very interesting to hear some of the medical professionals talk about this, and you know, if in fact the numbers are being skewed. But so far, again, here in the state of Illinois, we've hit 7,005 and COVID-related deaths. And we are at more than 800 new cases, which is good, you know, for you know, when we compare compared to other states, it's pretty good, and the numbers are going down, and Illinois is doing quite well with keeping the numbers down in terms of the cases, as well as hospitalizations and deaths. So kudos to our government officials here for really taking this thing serious, and also for impressing upon those of us who live in the state to take it serious as well. As a matter of fact, here in Illinois, they have reinstated that mandate that they had in place early on when we got into the pandemic, where you know, the borders weren't closed, but anybody coming into the state of Illinois that was from a state that was having big problems with COVID, you had to self-isolate for 14 days. And so they're going back to that. So if you're trying to come in from Florida or Georgia or Arizona or Texas, any of those states with the big numbers, you will have to self-quarantine for 14 days before you can go out in public. Now, the big question is, how are they going to manage that? How are they going to monitor and manage all the people that come here from those states and make sure that they are self-quarantining for 14 days? It's going to be a tough thing to do, but will they have the COVID police out? I don't know. We'll just have to just keep listening and see, or maybe do more digging and get some answers. All right, so it's a holiday, but we all know that COVID is not on holiday, everybody. That coronavirus is still out here, so we still need to be careful. Take heed and be careful. I don't know how many times you need to hear it, but please wear your face mask and social distance and all of that good stuff. All right, keep your celebrations, if you're going to have family together or go somewhere. I have a couple of different invitations myself today, so everybody is practicing social distancing and being safe, so we encourage you to do the same. All right, and in terms of being out and about and picnicking and barbecuing or whatever it is that you're going to be doing outdoors, today's going to be another hot one. We're anticipating hitting the forecasters are saying we're going to hit the 90-degree range, lower 90s, and with the heat index we're going to feel pretty close to 100 degrees, which is what it felt like yesterday. And according to the National Weather Service, they're predicting that we could, here in the Chicagoland area, see 9 straight days of 90s. And so far in this area, we've seen about 11 90 degree temperature days, not back to back. These next ones are supposed to be back to back. Today, I believe, is day 2 or 3 of straight 90-degree temperatures with the heat index again feeling like 100 or very close to 100. And so the National Weather Service is also saying it's pretty average to have about 15 days in the month of July to hit the 90s, but we may surpass that since we've already had 11, and there's an anticipation that we may get 9 more. All right, so dress accordingly, stay hydrated, don't spend too much time in the sun, because you can get a heat stroke. All right, so especially if you mix that with drinking alcohol and all of that. So please take care of yourself, stay hydrated, and dress accordingly. Speaking of dress, you see my flag dress for the July 4th holiday. All right. So let's see, what else do I want to talk about before we leave? I had an interesting talk with conversation with a friend during the week, and we were just kind of chatting, and I started using certain words as I was speaking, and I, apologized. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry for using this word. I called it verbing, and I think I read that terminology somewhere, and that's where it came from. I downloaded it from my memory, but I used the term verbing because I was saying, oh, I'm going to Google that, or I'm going to I'm going to be downloading What else? There's some more. Let me see. I made some notes here of some other expressions that we use now, that were of words that were typically nouns, like Google is a search engine. It's a noun, but we turn that word into a verb. Let's Google that, right? And of course, bookmarking, downloading. A download is something that you pull from the archives of the internet or online or search engines. But downloading, we say a lot. Bookmarking, let's bookmark that. Bookmark is something that, a bookmark is a document or article or something that we pull from a web page. So it is a thing. It's a noun, but we use the terminology as a verb, right? Verbing. So that's something that has happened in this day and age of technology. And it caused me to think about, technology and where we are. Here we are on 4th of July, 2020. How we read books have changed. A lot of people don't even want the paper books. They read books from tablets or online. And some people really just listen to books now. They don't read at all. They just listen to the books, because you can get those audio books, right? And so you don't have to read. You let the book read to you. And so that's another big change that came to mind. I also thought about how in the world of social media, emailing, texting, and things like that, how we've gotten a little lax with the English language in terms of our use of punctuation. And there's even this thing called etiquette now when we're texting or on social media. All caps means you're shouting at someone. Did you know that? Yeah. And then we have all of these, what they call emoticons now, to emphasize or even replace a word, or a feeling or an expression, happy face for, instead of saying I'm happy, you use an emoticon, which shows I'm happy, or I'm smiling, or I'm crying, or I'm laughing. So the world has changed, and I just wanted to bring that out. I was going to do it as cafe talk, just to kind of get some input from everyone else in terms of how they have noticed or feel that technology has changed us and how we communicate with each other. Hey, listen, I remember when email was just strictly used in business, and it was inter-office, inside the company. You typically could not email, in the early days I'm speaking, email someone outside of your organization. And then, of course, technology developed, and then you were able to do that. And it was so informal, right? It was like, from a perspective of business, you still were expected to type letters and memos, and that was the only way that your communication would be taken seriously. If you sent someone an email, they didn't take it serious. It was more, email was thought of as more of for personal use and entertainment use, and so if you tried to conduct business that way, it wasn't taken seriously. But eventually things started to change and evolve, right? Sort of like Wikipedia. Remember when that first came out? Or even Google or some of the other search engines. At school, if you were writing research papers or doing dissertations or whatever it is, you were told straight out, I don't want to see any sources from Wikipedia or from any other search engines. You get into the library and you use those references. You don't rely on information from Yahoo or Google. You had to get the reliable sources, use the reliable sources or references, which were typically in a library. But nowadays, it's all changed. You can conduct business via email. You can sign contracts via email, even text messaging now, right? Um, and in terms of the world of academia, I mean, you can reference, my goodness, search engines now, right? So things have changed in technology, and here's my whole point. Don't get left behind, everybody. Just because I know I was like that. I had my flip phone for a very long time before I got into smartphones. Um, and, I was like, well, what do I need the smartphone for? And then that was the whole thing of the smartphone might be too smart, But, we have to keep up. We have to keep up, especially people who are of a particular age, and my generation, I'm sort of borderline with the baby boomers and the Gen Xers. And so we watched all of this happen. We have a frame of reference. We know what the world was like and about before all of this came into an existence. And I think we're the generations that kind of grow tired of trying to keep up with everything, because now because of the acceleration of technology, we talked about this on the show before, how, from it took from the 80s to the 90s for the gradual improvement of technology to happen. And then suddenly, things sped up. And so now we're looking at, an iPhone drops one year and then a new one drops the next year. It's just ever changing so fast. And don't get to the point where you say, well, I don't want to know about that. I don't need that. Try to keep up. Try to keep up. As a matter of fact, do more than try. Just do it. Keep up with technology, because listen, it's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to develop, and we're still going to continue to have our minds blown with the things that we can do. I just can't believe some of the things that we can do in this world of technology right now. I'm learning things that, the kids probably knew 5 years ago. I'm finally getting wind of it. And especially since I've been off radio and I've been doing, the YouTube and the Zooming and all of that, just trying to bring myself up to par. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. All right, baby boomers and Gen Xers, let's not get left behind. All right, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And let's see here. I think that's it for the show. I did want to keep it brief because I know folks are holidaying and picnicking and barbecuing, or just enjoying a day of rest. All right. So before we go, I do have a joke. It's the laugh of the day with Think and Laugh Daily. And here's the question. Why was the baby strawberry crying? Why was the baby strawberry crying? I'm queuing up my music because I want to play this as we kind of leave the show. All right, so laugh of the day with Think and Laugh Daily. Why was the baby strawberry crying? Because his mother was in a jam. Yeah. Strawberry jam. Okay. I tickle myself, I guess. Okay, so remember, if you want to promote, advertise, or get the word out about your business, Marilyn's Cafe Society is a great vehicle in which you can do it. Using the website, this YouTube show, social media platforms, and the email. I'm telling you, it's a great way to find another market, another group of people to get the word out about what you're doing. All right, so reach out to us at producer@marilynscafesociety.com if you want to take advantage of this great marketing tool that we have here. Also, if you have show ideas and you think you might want to be a guest, producer@marilynscafesociety.com is how you can reach out to us. All right. So remember, people, you can find me on Facebook, Marilyn's Cafe Society, on Twitter at Marilyn's Cafe Soc, on WordPress at Marilyn's Cafe Society, at the website Marilyn's Cafe Society, and of course right here on YouTube, Marilyn's Cafe Society Radio. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe when you go check out some of those platforms. And of course, before we go, let's tell you what love is. Love is wishing you a happy 4th of July. You're so cute. All right, so on that note, I do want to wish you a happy 4th of July. And because my mom's birthday is coming up, she's no longer with us. You guys who've been with me know that I lost her 3 years ago. So, you know, during this month, I think of her often. And one of her favorite musical groups was Frankie Beverly and Maze, or Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. And we were blessed to be able to take her a couple times in her life to see them in person in concert, and she just loved this group. And so in the spirit of the holiday, because we would be playing her music right now, she was here with us in the kitchen, you know, visiting and just hanging out. So I'm going to leave you with a little Frankie Beverly and Maze. I do not own rights to this music. You guys be safe. Remember, if you don't do anything else this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. And as always, it's a pleasure and a privilege. And we'll check in again next week, no later than Wednesday, right here on Marilyn's Cafe Society on YouTube. All right, Frankie Beverly and Maze, that's the guitar. My mom played the guitar a little bit, not the electric guitar, the acoustic. She got that from her dad. All right, so you guys be good. Peace.